And right below that, you see something called float. And float is money that is left in our hands, somewhat akin, but very importantly different than a bank deposit. But you have to pay interest to get a bank deposit. You have to pay more interest these days, and you have to run a bank and do a lot of things. And basically, this is money that represents unpaid losses at this time. You get paid in advance in insurance. So what shows up as a net liability on our balance sheet gives us funds to exercise with an amount of discretion that no other insurance company that I know of in the world enjoys, just because we have so much net worth. And our float now comes to $165 billion, and the man sitting on the far left is responsible for moving that number up from a pittance in 1986 to this incredible figure, which in most years, practically all years, hasn't cost us anything. So it's like having a bank with no employees, no interest, and no ability to withdraw the money in a hurry that we have working for us. And it's a very valuable asset that shows up as a liability. And Ajit is responsible for building up this treasure, which has been done by outcompeting insurance companies all over the world. And then now a number of our insurance companies in turn are run by talented managers who contributed one way or another. Start with Geico at the beginning of my career. And that float, if you think about it, just think of a balance sheet. You've got liabilities here, and you got assets over here. And the liability side finances the asset side. It's very simple. And stockholders' equity finances it, long-term debt finances it, and so on. But stockholders' equity is very expensive in a real sense. Long-term debt has been cheap for a while, but it can get expensive, and it can also become due eventually, and it may not be available. But float is another item that shows it's a liability, but hasn't cost us anything, and it can't disappear in a hurry, and it finances the asset side in the same way as stockholders' equity. And nobody else thinks of it much that way, but we've always thought of it that way, and it's built up over time. So